Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, evening. So I think this is the session number 10. So where we have covered in the last session about the selection statements, and prior to that constructors and functions we have covered. And now we will be covering how we will input the values into the program. Okay. So there are various ways are there using input like we will write using scanner class and buffered reader, so our parameters. So anyway, like how we will input, like take values into the program, and based on those inputs we will be processing program and will give the output. So that way, so what is the main recommended way we will be using here is using a scanner class. Okay. So scanner class contains individual functions in it, in that class. So we will invoke based on the type of input what we need, and we will process the program. Buffered reader is not so important, but I just mentioned that it is also there that to input, and using parameters anyway. So based on the question, so write a program to input two integers using parameters or directly accept values. So wherever we find accept process, we will go for a scanner class. Okay. So I'll be explaining how we will input the values using scanner class. We don't go for the other process, but parameters are also going to be used. And we will input using object also. Okay. So based on the question, so what type of input we need, that way we'll be go along. Okay. So these are the types: input using a scanner class, input using buffer reader and input stream reader process, or input using parameters, or input using an object. Okay. Let us go to the next slide. I hope you are watching the sharing screen. So let me navigate to the next page. So here, so as I mentioned, input using scanner class. Okay. So as I mentioned, we will input the values using scanner class. So what are the functions we have in scanner class, and how we will invoke those all. So I hope you may know about this, but let me iterate also one after the other. So scanner class object supposed to be created first point. So we need to create a scanner class object, and then the below functions are used to input. So what type of value? Suppose as we discussed, we have 8 primitive types in Java. Okay, in 8 primitive types, and the function may be related to any. So we have one more thing is string. So string is not a primitive, but that is a class. Okay, using that also we have a function separately, and we will invoke and we will input that type of data. So here, next byte. Next byte function is a predefined function in scanner class. We will invoke it to input byte type of value. Similarly, short type of value, int type of value. Integer type in the sense next int, next long, next float, next double, next line, and next. So up to here are individual, we are okay. Okay. Next line is used to input a string, means one line of sentence we can input here, it is going to read. Where next is there. Next is not a character input to give, it is also string type, but it will read only a word. Okay. It will read only a word, and we have a use of this. So when you wanted to input a character, we will invoke through next, and we will cut short, in the sense first character will extract and we will store in a character variable. So that way we will go along. Okay. So please remind these all functions in your mind, and so how we will input the kind of data. So that way we will be taking on. Okay. So next Boolean also there, but I'll be adding that also after myself is checking in that. Okay. Let me check in compiler and add Boolean also. Okay. Just give me a second. So as I mentioned, next Boolean also there. Next Boolean also I have included. So next Boolean to take input a Boolean type of value, and we can do whatever we wanted. So we can input 4 integers, 2 floating points, and 1 Boolean. Character function is only not there. But we will get through that input also using next. That also I will show you. Okay. So all 9 types of data. 9 types means 4 integers, byte, short, int, long, float, double, Boolean, and string. 8 type of data we can input easily. Okay. Instead of character, string we will input. So 8 type of data means here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and string is 1. 8. 8 type of data we input easily using a function, there is no problem. But character only, there is a little bit complication here. We will input a word and from there first character will take. So that way we will store in the character variable. So that way we will be accepting input for the character. So any kind of data individual function we have except a character that we will use using a next. Okay, that I will show you. So 9 type of data also we can take. So that I'll be navigating to the next one. Uh, so next page I'll be navigating. You see here. So there is no function to input a character data. We will using, as I said, first character of using a next function. Okay. So input using here an integer. How do we input integer? So let me navigate to the executor. Like directly I will navigate to you and will show you the process here. Okay. So I will be navigating to the compiler screen. So I'll be sharing it here. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, so I think you can see the shared screen here. So next Boolean. So what will be there? First import java.util.star. So we will not be able to directly access import jar scanner class object because when we don't have this, for example, I'll try to run. You can see the error here. Okay, so scanner class, it is not going to give access directly to the class. So we need to import that package. Import Java, scanner class is in UTL package. So star you give or scanner you give. That's also anything is fine. So java.util.scanner or star. Star means all the classes is going to be allowed here. So scanner, so imported util package attributes. So scanner object is created. System.in. System.in what it does? It is going to allow you to input value. Input value means it is allocate you to input a value. So what happens here? It is going to allocate system.out. So system is a class. In means it is expecting an input from you. Out means it is going to give an output to you. Okay. So that way there are two things here. System.in, system.out. System.in means you are going to give a value which comes in the program. System.out means you are going to give a value, it is going out of the program. So in and out are the variables. Okay. So you are going to give input here, which is going to read by the object. So after that, it is getting into the method system.out.println, enter a Boolean value. So this is going to be populated on console and there will be cursor blinks over there. You will be given an input there, and that input is going to be read by this particular function called next boolean. So it is going to read this function, and after reading it, storing that value in variable called n. That is going to be printed. So this is what you will input. It is collected and printing the output. Okay, so that way this is going to work. So I'll run again. Then what happens? You can check the program. So what happens here is, see, it is going to be enter a Boolean value. Here cursor is blinking. As soon as you give a value, true. As soon as you give a value here, true, it is going to be collected by the variable. After collecting it, it's printing value here. Okay, as soon as you give enter, the variable is collected and printed and program is successful. Okay, so this way the program is got executed. So how you input a Boolean value and print it. Similarly, let me enter an integer value or string variable. Okay, enter a name, for example, name. The name what type? String type. Okay, the next line is the function to input a name. Next line. Okay, that's all. That's minor change. So how do you input a name? So same way, same object is used for any kind of data. Okay, suppose there are two types of data you wanted, two objects are needed. Suppose name, Anwar. Okay, in and printed. So that way. Next int you wanted to give. Next int I'll be changing. Otherwise, next double. So double value, double, next double. Okay. So enter a Real number. Simple. So real number we give. Real number. So real number I give. So run. Then what happens? Enter a real number. Enter a real number. It is going to be given 15.5, for example. So this is a real number which is taking into double and printing that. Okay. Now printed that. So that way every function is going to be invoked for that. Okay. So character input, I will give you some other session here. So that way, every function in the sense how to input an integer also let us try integer. Okay. Next int. So next int type, enter an integer. Okay, enter an integer. So integer value we will input and storing in int. Okay, and printing n. So run. Then what happens? We will enter integer that is 17, for example. We will print 17. So all the functions together, so whatever functions we have here, all the functions are going to be executed. Now I'll be sharing that and will show you the presentation screen, so where you can see all the functions. I hope these all functions can be invoked easily. Okay. So in which way we will, there is a process. First import is needed. First import is needed, and then object is supposed to be created and terminal window supposed to be given. Means what type of input? Message for the user. If it is not given also no problem, but message would be very clear communication between the user and the system. So we will input a integer and we will be printing it. Okay. Let us do for a character also. Why do we leave? Enter a character. For example, enter a character input. Character. For example, as I said, next. Next will be given here. String n equals to next to given. And then char c equals to what do you call object? N dot caret 0 means the whatever the input we give, okay, that input is going to be entered into this. It is collected in the form of string. Now, the zeroth character, in the sense indexed one, that one character only we will give, that is converting into so character. So it is going to extract that character in character format and storing in C. So you can print C here. The input character is what? This one, C. Okay. So let me do one thing. It's simple here. That is, you will input, we will give a message, same object. Input a message means character. Message is given here as soon as you click on run, and then uh, it is going to collect. N is going to collect that input. Character only, but in collect in form of string. And caret function, n dot, whatever the character is in string format, from there, it is extracting the zeroth indexed character, means that only, and storing in C variable. This is a little bit a confusion, but finally we got the character in which variable? Character variable. That we are printing. That's all. Now execute it. Enter a character will going to come. Now character A I will give. Okay. Now C is printed. Input character is C. That is A. Okay. So this way we will input a character. So all types of inputs are covered in this session. Okay. If you have any confusion or any doubts, you can email me. So I will clarify your questions. Okay. So any other there is a process to input using a scanner class. Don't forget, again, I'm reiterating to you all. First, import java.util.star. Okay. Why? One more added update I will give you. So there are other classes also, like system is there and math is there, system is there, string is there. Okay. We don't use import. System, string, math, these all are in lang package. In lang package, we don't give any import statement. Why do we don't give? Because that's by default imported in the class. So the basic requirement of program is needed is string, math, these all. So for that particular lang package, we don't give import. But rest of all, whatever we use the class, the relevant package is supposed to be imported. Otherwise, the classes are not going to work. Okay. So that way. So Why it is given a preference for Lang and other packages are not given, or every package is given access by default to your class to import. Why do we need write one extra statement? Yes, maybe if it is given like that, then what happens is, mm, there is a like there is an issue of performance because compiler has to travel every package. It has to what is correct or wrong, what is syntax or wrong. It has to verify every syntax. So that way there is a big load on the system. So that is the reason what is needed, that particular package only we will import. Suppose let's say AWT, so many packages are there. We imported only UTL. UTL only compiler responsibility is there. Scanner class object, whether it is there in the library or not, as soon as this is correct or not, it is going to verify with using an util package. Though it will say it is, I'm sorry, correct or wrong. That is the reason package is supposed to be imported based on the need. Okay. That's about the input process about scanner class. Whatever program we write in further sessions, we will be using scanner class only. This session is very important for you all. Please don't miss it and watch it without uh, what do you call forward or anything. Okay, complete session is important to watch. Thank you all. This is about input process. Is there any example in the presentation is there or not? I will just again go back and check. Yes. Now programs will start as soon as this is anyway over. Um, Let me stop this session now. Okay. Thank you all. Have a good day.